Come on in, you guys. Welcome to the show. This is the Arroyo Show. My name is Brandon Arroyo. If it's your first time here, please give it a thumbs up and a subscribe. What a guest we have for you here today. You can see her portraying the role of Caitlin in Netflix's new #1 coming-of-age film, Moxie. Please welcome Sabrina Haskett. How are you today?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Definitely. And it looks like you're in maybe your music room right now. Is that your piano back there?
Oh, right there. Yeah, you know.
Is that like... So what is it, like a family piano? Did we grow up learning to play piano on this piano behind us? What's the story here?
Yeah, this actually is my family piano. I taught myself piano. I don't play a traditional way. I actually play with chords. And so I only know enough to accompany myself.
Very cool. Well, Moxie ended February as the #1 movie on Netflix. When you log into Netflix and you see your movie as #1, what's that feeling like?
It's very surreal. I think it didn't really sink in. I don't even know if it has yet. When all my friends are texting me saying they watched it, and to see it there, it's definitely very special. It's a really cool feeling. But yeah, like I said, it hasn't quite sunk in, I don't think, yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd imagine there's a lot of, it's Netflix, so there's a lot of, fanfare that goes around with this. I believe you guys were on a billboard in Times Square at one point, correct?
Yes, that is true.
This is like a huge deal. Does it, like you said, it seems surreal. Has there been any moments where you've just sat back yet and been like, wow, this is really happening. This is a big deal.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, so last weekend, so I'm in Utah right now currently with everything going on. And my boyfriend had the idea to drive all the way out to LA, which is about 10 hours, and go see the billboards that are out there in real life. He was like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
You need to be able to see it to like really get the impact of it. And I think definitely seeing it for myself for the first time, like in real life, was that moment of, wow, this is real, this is happening.
That's really cool. And okay, so other than yourself, who in your family and friends has been the most excited about you for this movie? I got to imagine there's been at least 2 or 3 friends that are texting you, hey, I'm watching it for the 4th time today. I just wanted to let you know. Is that going on?
Yeah, definitely. My parents for sure were the most excited, anticipating it. I'm pretty sure my mom just had it on repeat the day it came out, over and over, in the background the whole day. So very supportive there. I appreciated that a lot.
Fed up with the status quo of her high school, a shy 16-year-old finds inspiration from her mother's rebellious past. Moxie is available now for you on Netflix. Now, you've said in the past that when you first started your acting journey and moved to Los Angeles, that you didn't even introduce yourself as an actor because of the fear of not making it or not being good enough. You've now officially acted in a #1 movie on Netflix, a hit web series with Happy Hazel. How did you push through those moments when you had that doubt early on?
That's a great question. I think I still struggle with that. I think as an artist in this industry, there's a certain level of confidence you have to have in order to carry yourself and to actually be able to perform the things you need to do. And so it is a lot of fake it till you make it. But also realizing that I can always get better, and I can always grow, and I can always continue learning and getting better at my craft. And I think that's kind of what motivated me to push through those moments of, it's okay that I'm not the best, or it's okay that I'm not the best that I can be. And that's what motivates me to get better.
And what I guess started you with wanting to do acting? Because we know, obviously, I think a lot of people are familiar with your story. You had tried out for American Idol back in, I believe, 2014. You'd been doing music for a while. What awakened the idea of, you know what, let's try a little bit of acting?
Yeah, good question. I did musical theater in junior high, and I did a little acting there. And I really loved it. And then I didn't do any acting in high school or after high school. And it wasn't until I did a little part in a movie called Laney and DJ Robert Train. It's on Netflix as well. And the directors from that kind of pulled me out and were like, why don't you consider doing this? And I was like, I never thought about doing acting, and I really enjoyed my time working there. And so I thought I'd give it a go.
What do you remember about your early memories on that set? There's a certain movie magic when you first get into any sort of production where you're on set and you look on one side and it's a beautiful room, and you move 4 inches to the left and it's plywood and blank pieces of wood staring at you. Do you have any memories of your first days being on a set?
I think for sure the shock of realizing this is how a movie is made was very enlightening for me to see the behind the scenes and how it works and how many times you do a scene and how many times they have to change things and little things that you don't even think of to look for in a movie when you're watching it. It's all very magical, and it's a really cool experience to be a part of something that, you know, when you watch it after, you're like, I know how that was looking behind the camera, but it's so cool to see them envision how it's supposed to be before it even comes out. Like, it's magical to me. For sure.
And it's kind of cool when you go from having, like, you know, when the director says cut, to then when you watch it on TV and it's one coherent story, it's like, oh, wow, it's like the movie magic just hits you. And one last thing before we move on. For me, I was really excited about the crafty table. I don't know why, but just the idea that there were snacks that you could have at any point of the day. What is your go-to snack for those long days on set?
Whoa, that's such a good question. I don't know. I think it depends on the day. When I was filming Moxie, they had these like sea salt, seaweed, dried snacks that were there, and I was like, that's disgusting. And my castmate Alicia was like, no, they're so good, try it. And I was like, I'm not going to eat seaweed. There's no way that this is actually edible. And it took her a few days to actually get me to try it, but once I did, I was like, you know what, you're right, it's delicious and I love it, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but that became my go-to snack. So if anyone's looking for a snack, seaweed, who knew?
That is a very healthy alternative that you find more so in, like, California than you do in many other places in the country. Another one also like that, it's like dried bananas that they put in like a chip bag, and it's like little banana chips. So yeah, if you ever are sitting around one day and you're like, you know what, I could go for some potassium myself, I'm going to go ahead and get myself a bag of banana chips. All right, so you come from Utah, and there's never been a better time to be a fan of the Utah Jazz, by the way. Number one on the basketball team, number one movie on Netflix. Growing up, was being an entertainer something that was on your radar, whether it was singing or acting? Or, I mean, being back in Utah, did you have any thoughts of, okay, this is where the next step would be if I wanted to try and join acting?
Yeah, I definitely have been wanting to be an entertainer performer my whole life. I think when I was 3, I was singing on like restaurant tables, random like nursery rhyme songs, and I've always been a little bit outgoing that way. And so it's funny because people will say, you know, like, when did you start singing? And it's like, I don't remember a time when I wasn't singing.
Yeah.
And so it feels like it has always been a part of me to want to be, you know, a performer and entertainer on the stage. And so to kind of jump from singing to acting, it was very unfamiliar to me, but it was really cool to see a different side of something that I love.
Were there any, like, any other activities outside of acting and entertainment that you were interested in? Like, did you have any hobbies? Did you play any sports? What was life like growing up for you?
This question a lot, and I have 3 younger brothers who all were very big sports fans, sports players, all of them very athletic. I'm a big supporter of the sports, and I do not have an athletic bone in my body, unfortunately. But that is why I did music and acting, and I was different. I found my own little side thing that I liked, and then so that kind of was always my go-to for sure.
Well, you got a birthday coming up at the start of April, correct?
Yes, I do.
As you jump into a brand new year, the acting is going well. You're living in one of the greatest cities in the world, whether it's in LA or where you are back in Utah. What are you hoping that this next year brings for you, and what do you have as you like look forward into the next year that you think it'd be nice to have that keep going?
That's a good question. I think last year I had a lot of those goals and ideas of how I wanted my year to turn out, and obviously it did not go anywhere according to plan. I don't think anyone's did. And so coming into this year, I definitely am taking it one day at a time more than having this whole plan, and just, you know, trying to stay healthy and safe and keeping my family healthy and safe. That's really all I can ask for this year. And, you know, if that happens, then I'm happy. So.
Well, as we begin to wind down the interview, we have something called the Final 5. They are the last 5 questions of the interview, and they are all about a little snapshot of where you are in your life right now here in 2021. It is your who, what, when, where, and how. The first question is, who do you speak with the most each day right now?
Probably my boyfriend, for sure. We talk pretty much every day, so I would say him, for sure.
What item do you use each day other than your phone?
Ooh, other than my phone, probably my piano. I would say I definitely have learned to lean on that a lot, writing, recording, singing, putting all of my feelings into that for sure.
When did you know that you wanted to pursue acting full time?
That's a great question. I think when I moved out to LA, that was kind of my jump of a decision to say, okay, I'm going to put all of my energy and focus into this and put everything I can into it. So definitely 2017, I think, is that year.
Where is your dream vacation?
Ooh. Oh, so many. Hawaii, I love Hawaii, Bali,
yes.
Greece. I mean, I could go on. I love the tropical vacation. I love the beach.
I think for so many of us, once the gates open and we're allowed to go travel the world again, it's just going to be such a green light to say, you know what, I'm going to go see some of these places in the world that I wasn't able to go see before.
Yeah, definitely.
Although I will say this, at the beginning of the pandemic, so I moved back east at the start of the pandemic, probably similar to a lot of time many people left LA. I got a flight from LA all the way across the country for $17. And I don't think that that's going to happen again whenever I head back out there.
I know. My boyfriend keeps trying to convince me to go to Hawaii. He's like, the flights are so cheap right now. I'm like, yeah, go to Hawaii.
Yeah. If you ever wanted to go visit, like, I don't know, maybe you wanted to go to Seattle, Utah to Seattle, you could probably get a ticket for 73 cents and some jazz tickets. Like, they'll yeah, come on in, jump on board. All right, final question for you. How do you define success?
I think I define success is, doing what you love full time would be my definition. So if you can find a way to do something you love full time, then I would say that's successful.
Well, she is Sabrina Haskett. You can see her portraying the role of Caitlin in Netflix's new #1 coming-of-age film, Moxie, available now on Netflix. And again, oh my gosh, congratulations on all of the success of the film. Before we let you go, if you had to give that last elevator pitch to get people to go check it out, what would you tell the people to have them go check it out on Netflix?
If you're about women empowerment, inspiring movies, then give it a shot. It's hilarious, but also very inspiring, empowering. It's a great film.
Sabrina, thank you so much for giving us some of your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.